Tall savanna grass shudders as a wounded antelope bursts forward, blood streaking its flank, legs buckling under exhaustion. Behind it, a group of australopithecus surges in uneven pursuit, short, powerfully built bodies moving with raw urgency. Their arms swing low, gripping crude stone tools flaked from river rock. Hunger has thinned their frames. The dry season has burned the land down to dust and bone. The antelope stumbles at the edge of a shallow river. Mud sucks at its hooves. In a final, chaotic rush, the hominids swarm. Stones crash down again and again. The animal collapses, breath shuddering into stillness. There is no pause, no triumph. Only speed. Only fear. Hands tear at flesh with sharp flakes. Tendons are cut. Meat is ripped free and bundled in leaves. Heads lift constantly, eyes scanning the horizon. Blood darkens the ground, and with it rises a scent that carries far across the plain. The earth trembles. From the distant acacia line, massive shapes shift. A saber-toothed cat steps into view, shoulders rolling, fangs curving downward like pale blades. Its gaze locks onto the carcass, and then the smaller figures around it. The hunters freeze. Muscles tense. The kill has drawn something far more dangerous than hunger. Instinct fractures the group into motion. Several adults drag meat away from the carcass. Others raise stones, bodies angled forward in threat displays older than language. The predator lowers itself, tail lashing. It lunges suddenly, not at the meat, but at a smaller form lagging behind. A child clings to its mother's chest, limbs wrapped tight. The mother pivots instantly, turning her back to the cat, shielding the infant with her own body. A stone slams into the predator's skull. Another follows. The cat snarls, recoils, recalculates. The moment stretches, then breaks as thunder cracks overhead. Dark clouds roll in violently, swallowing the sun. Wind flattens the grass. Rain explodes downward, blinding, cold, relentless. The predator retreats into the storm, but the danger only transforms. The river surges, muddy water spilling beyond its banks. The group runs. Feet slip in churned mud. Bodies collide. An elder stumbles, clutching meat too heavy for failing strength. A younger adult grabs his arm, hauls him forward. Behind them, the river roars louder, widening, devouring ground by the second. Lightning splits the sky, illuminating panic-wide eyes and rain-plastered hair. A male is swept sideways by the flood, his body twisting violently in the current. Without hesitation, two others plunge after him. They lock arms around his chest and shoulders, dragging him free as the water tears at their legs. They reach higher ground as night crashes down. The storm passes, leaving the savanna soaked and silent. The group huddles together beneath a rocky overhang. Bodies shiver. Breathing slows. One adult cradles a crushed forearm, swollen and useless after the fall. A female kneels beside him, chewing bitter leaves gathered earlier. She presses the pulp into the wound, binding it with strips of bark. The pain dulls enough to survive. At first light, they move again. Their pace is slower now. Weaker, but alive. They follow familiar paths etched into memory by generations, toward stone formations that offer shelter, toward water that has not yet vanished. Smoke rises ahead. Another group occupies the mouth of a shallow cave, bodies smeared with ash and ochre. Their stance is rigid. Eyes track the newcomers instantly. The meat bundles are visible. Scarcity sharpens every movement. The distance closes. Postures rise. Stones are lifted. The clash is sudden and brutal. Bodies collide in a blur of limbs and force. Stones strike bone. Teeth snap inches from flesh. One rival collapses after a blow to the skull. Another lunges for the meat and is driven back by a coordinated surge, multiple bodies moving as one. The fight is short, savage, and decisive. The rival group retreats, melting into scrub and shadow. The cave is claimed. Inside, the survivors gather embers carried through the storm, shielding them with cupped hands. Dry grass catches. Fire breathes back to life. Flames flicker against stone walls blackened by ancient soot. Meat is placed near the heat. Fat drips into glowing coals. Children press close to the warmth. Elders rest. The wounded breathe steadily. The savanna seems to loosen its grip, just for a moment. Then the ground shakes. A deep, rolling vibration swells from the plain. A giant proboscidean emerges from the mist, towering, unstoppable. Its massive feet crush shrubs and bone alike as it advances toward the firelight. Panic ripples through the group. Some scatter into the cave's depths. Others grab burning branches, waving flame and smoke toward the massive head. The animal bellows, tusks smashing into stone, sending fragments crashing down. Smoke coils into its eyes. Fire flares brighter. The beast hesitates. With another thunderous call, it turns away, disappearing back into the open land. Silence floods the cave. The fire steadies. Meat is shared, passed hand to hand. The child once nearly taken gnaws safely beside the flames. The elder lifts his head, eyes reflecting firelight. The tribe has endured the night. But survival is never finished. The morning sun rises weakly through lingering mist, revealing the damage left behind. The savanna is transformed, flattened grass, exposed roots, carcasses half submerged in retreating floodwater. The land has shifted again, and with it, the rules of survival. The group moves out from the cave cautiously. Scouts advance first, scanning for movement. Every rustle carries meaning. The scent of damp earth mixes with rot and possibility. This is when predators return. Near the river's edge, the group pauses. The water is high but calmer now. Several adults kneel, using folded leaves and stretched animal skin to collect water, lifting it carefully to avoid spilling a single drop. Children are pulled close, hands resting on small backs, constant contact anchoring them to safety. The wounded adult lags behind. His arm hangs stiff, bound tight. Another hominid supports him, matching his pace. Survival here is collective or nothing. A sudden alarm ripples through the group. Grass ahead parts violently. A giant hyena, massive and scar-scarred, charges from cover, jaws snapping. Panic explodes outward. Children are lifted instantly. Stones fly. One adult is knocked aside, the hyena's teeth grazing flesh. Blood spills. The animal presses forward, relentless. The group closes ranks. Several bodies rush in simultaneously, striking with stones, targeting eyes, nose, joints. One thrusts a burning branch into the hyena's face. It recoils, snarling, snapping blindly. Another stone cracks against its skull. The predator retreats, wounded but alive, vanishing into brush. The cost is clear. An adult lies bleeding heavily. The group circles, shielding him as another chews medicinal leaves, pressing them into torn flesh. Blood slows. Breath steadies. Life holds, barely. The decision is made without ceremony. They must move. The land is becoming too dangerous, too unstable. The dry season will return. Predators will follow. They gather what remains, tools, meat scraps, embers preserved in bark, and begin a long migration toward distant hills where trees thicken and water lingers longer. The journey is punishing. Heat bears down. Feet blister. Children are carried for hours at a time, shifting from one adult to another. When strength falters, they rest briefly in sparse shade, always watching, always listening. One afternoon, the sky darkens again. A second storm rolls in faster than the first. Wind screams through branches. The group scrambles toward a forested ravine. Rain slams down. Mudslides roar past. A child slips, nearly lost, but is hauled back by powerful arms gripping tight. They reach cover beneath tangled roots as water pours past. The storm rages, then passes, leaving the forest steaming and alive with sound. In the aftermath, the world feels reborn, and more dangerous than ever. Tracks crisscross the mud. Massive claw marks score tree trunks. The presence of megafauna is everywhere. The group moves in silence now, gestures sharp and precise. One wrong move could end them all. At dusk, they find it. A stretch of elevated ground overlooking a bend in the river. Trees offer cover. Stone lies scattered nearby. It is not safe, but it is survivable. They work quickly. Stone tools are resharpened. Branches are dragged into rough barriers. Fire is coaxed back to life. Meat is roasted carefully, shared equally. No one eats alone. As night falls, predators move at the edge of firelight, shadows circling, watching. The group responds instinctively, bodies closing in, forming a living wall around children and elders. Hours pass. Then, silence. The predators drift away, seeking easier prey. The fire crackles. Exhaustion settles in like a heavy blanket. In the firelight, a birth begins. A female separates from the group, supported by others. Her body tenses and strains, breath ragged. Hands steady her. Leaves are laid beneath. The group forms a protective ring, backs turned outward, guarding against the dark. The child emerges, slick with blood and life. A small, fragile form lifted into trembling hands. The newborn cries, sharp, defiant. The sound cuts through the night like a declaration. The group stills. The infant is pressed against warm skin. The mother breathes, alive. The fire flares as if answering. In this moment, after predators, storms, conflict, giants, and loss, life has continued. The savanna stretches endlessly beyond the firelight, cruel and indifferent. But here, in this fragile circle of warmth, something has endured far beyond muscle and stone. The tribe remains. Not because the world was gentle, but because they were not alone. Their shadows stretch long against the trees, ancestors of a future unseen, carrying survival forward one generation at a time.